Alright, so welcome to you all. Black Wolf, Bubonic One, and Sheeps, who are the early adopters of tonight's late stream. And I am sorry that it did go a little bit late. Tonight was D&D time with Pete and Jeremy over on their channel. And our session went a little long, but was it very interesting. At the end of it, my character ended up riding off into the sunrise with a turtle bandit on the back of a giant lizard. And the bandits were actually the enemies, and I just sort of rode off with them. You know what? That's why I want to encourage y'all. Look, go and give D&D time a look and play with them. Sign up for their games on Fridays, please. It's so much fun playing with them. Well, they are gonna open up the next week's, well, probably tomorrow for Saturday. I think they'll reopen the ability to take names, and new players get priority, by the way. But yeah, give them a look. And speaking of which, for the characters, if you have that's all you need is a mic. Also, we are going to keep D&D time supplements open for the random character creation. You are a new player, so you would get priority on a Friday night, Sheeps. I like that commission, Black Wolf. I thought it was very interesting. So the only thing I don't have, at least for tonight, is the Adventurers League content for backgrounds. Adventurers League Rage of Demons, Adventurers League Elemental Evil, and Adventurers League Curse of Strahd. Aside from that, bada boom, look at this. 44 different backgrounds that we're going to have available to us. Boop. There we go. It's actually going to take a second for it to come up, I think. There we are. All right. Why don't we get going? I'm really excited to see, if we open up everything to a character and we randomize the pulls of the numbers for filling in slots. What or who, I should say, are we going to end up with? Black Wolf, Derek will treat you right on that commission. He certainly will. Tonight's beverage is purple, by the way.
All right.
McCobb, Derek, you and the 11 others need to seal the doors. Get in here, quick. Derek, raid. Why don't we use the third evil alignment option? We possibly could. I was thinking of just going balanced odds. Or maybe we could do, well, I don't know. So that's 10% good, ultimately 20% something neutral, and most everything else would be evil. Make an evil party. Maybe we can make 2 evil, mostly possible characters tonight and then open it up later. Oh, so much great art. Yes. Oh, Ivalon. Poor Derek. Subjected to the wiles of our very own Awu. The Wolf Queen has arrived. So yes, if you have an Awu, go ahead and share it. And speaking of which, by the way, all of you who are subscribed may notice that you have a new emote available to you. And you are welcome to use that emote. Hey. Because it's an official Matty Morg stream when there is cat butt. And so, I mean, not only can we use it as a check mark, yeah, we did it. So not only did we do it, everyone, but should a cat show up on stream, well, you know what you can spam. And so instead of a little pink asterisk there that we all might be used to, I just went with a pink check mark. So, hey, you have a cat butt emote. So you all are welcome for that. And I hope you use it judiciously. All right, let's set this off to the side. You see how, hey, McFluffy Muffin and Volvo and Mike Meister, or Max Meister. Ivlon, Bubonic One, Coffee Cat, if I missed anyone else here. But thank you for the raid, for coming over from Macabre Derek's stream, where he was putting work in today. My gosh. And if you want to see the product of his marathon session, check it out on Discord. Oh, all the good stuff. Last day for me. I seriously wish I could get a real debit card. Oh, yeah. So, Max, who recommended you over this way? And, yeah, Bubonic One, there's some things, many banks, what you can do if you want to get a starter card is to, you can, like, set aside, like, $200 or $300 and, like, put it kind of on a quasi-deposit with them, and they'll issue a card that's worth the amount that they have on hold. Because that way, if you fold on the card, the money's there. But if you use that long enough, it's a way for the bank to establish credit with you. And then after X amount of time, you can transition over from this sort of like a prepaid credit card. It's a credit card, but it's a prepaid kind of a thing. And then you can get into a beginner card. Dark Wolf, oh my goodness, a woo! Thank you very much. You are almost. Oh no, that's at 12 months. I was gonna say you have your 6 month for sure. Almost a stream baby. That's true. That's the 9 month mark. Almost a stream baby. I'm sure it'll be a cute little pupper. The website. Oh, well then. Well, Max, hey, welcome aboard, and you're going to get to see who we are and what we do. While we do roleplay on Tuesdays to practice what we preach Wednesday through Saturday is workshop stuff. And you've come aboard at a very interesting time where we have a brand new random character generator. So we're going to open up the dice roller and get things ready. Shall we begin? I believe we shall. First thing to roll is a percentile set to find out if we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character. Trust a Flump over at D&D time did an excellent job. We rolled an 83, so close to a multi-class character. If we don't roll a multi-class character tonight, tomorrow, we're going to make at least one. So we have a male character. Now for the race, as you'll notice, here, I'm going to move this off to the side. The Elemental Evil, player compendium or player option or something. Volo's Guide to Monsters, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, the Pahubba, Player's Handbook. Matty Morgs is, it's not, I don't have custom races that are officially published. Ooh, there might be a secret project in the works. Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, TTP. I think I have that open. What the heck is that one? Why am I derping? Well, anyway. And D&D time. Oh, that's right. The Turtle package. Yep, that's right, Max. Compton, yes, shh. Don't tell anyone. I might have some projects in the works for custom stuff. TTP, the Twilight Princess, corrects us. Dark Wolf corrects us. For more woos. Alright. With all of these options, I'm going to generate a 35-sided die, and we are going to roll which race. Now, I mean, go figure. I'm probably going to get the turtle on a 31, and I don't have that supplement open right now. Let's see. So, a 35-sided die on the official dice roller here, and let's hit it. 10.
The Barbarian stepped up tonight.
Oh my goodness. Derek and everyone who commissioned a project through him, thank you so much for that. That is actually going to roll us over into the next tier of the goal. Oh gosh. That was 140. So that'd put us at 285. So we are rolling at 45. Oh, that's needs a little adjustment. There we go. Yeah, Derek, look, the community that went in to putting this together, and you you're the point of the spear for that as the artist and as the person producing those sketches for other people, and then for those who stepped up to get their work done through you. I sincerely appreciate every bit, every cent, every little portion of. Yeah, Derek is in fact stream boss now, sitting on a goodly amount of hit points as well. But yeah, Derek, I'm sincerely moved by you donating your time and talent. Riding the wave of people who are commissioning you in order to help me get out to California in September for TwitchCon. Thank you very much. Hey, first 12-hour stream, Derek. If you gotta go, if you gotta turn into a pumpkin, brother, I understand. If you want to stick around, that's fine too, and decompress. But if you just gotta face plant into a pillow, then get her done. Rycon, you got your new PC. Oh, I hope it's humming for you. And yes, Derek's PC did survive, Ivalon. All right, you're just going to hang out for a little while? All right. Love for Derek. Yes, all the love. In fact, Derek, because I know you had a bunch of cats all around you, let's shower you with some cat love. And so, Derek, you get a bunch of cat butts. And Compton, thank you for the follow. I know it'll show up here in a little bit. I just caught it in chat though. And yes, Bubonic 10 is a Firbolg. And Firbolgs, hey, there it is. Firbolgs are out of... Volo's. Yes, Volo's Guide to Monsters. Got it. All right. So we're going to open this back up for when we gen up our next character. The alignment. Bubonic wanted to see us roll on the penchant for evil alignment, and so we're going to roll a percentile. 12. So we have a lawful, neutral, male Firbolg. Lawful, neutral, male Firbolg. And we're going to gen this character up at level... We rolled a 78, a level 16 character. That is going to give us 4 stat bump possibilities that could be replaced by feats. So I'm going to roll a percentile set and figure out if we're going to replace any of them with feats. With a 47, nope, it's all going to be, it's au naturel. Now for our background sources, you may notice that I have 3 things unchecked. That's because I don't currently have the Adventurers League supplements to draw on for background stuff. For tomorrow, I hope to have it, but for right now, this is printed material. So we have 44 different backgrounds to well, I'd say to choose from, but we're going to roll a 44-sided die and figure out what our lawful neutral male Firbolg is going to have as a background. 13. Number 13 is a criminal spy. And that is out of the good old-fashioned Pahubba. Now for the class and subclasses, we have, well, I mean, there's 12 different classes. That hasn't changed unless they print Artificer, or some people are theorizing about other things too. But this is going to expand our subclass options. So now, the Golden D12, number 1, we have a Firbolg Barbarian. And which Barbarian? This is technically the Battle Ragers, like dwarf only, but it doesn't matter, not necessarily. So I'm gonna roll a D6, and we're gonna find out which kind of Barbarian our Firbolg is going to be. 5, a Totem Warrior. Alright, class features, there's nothing here for Barbarians, so we can skip over that. And now the physical attributes by race. As you can see, all of the different races that are available are loaded in here. So all we have to do is go to Firbolg. And you can see when a Firbolg reaches a physical maturity, not necessarily a cultural or a legal one, a physical maturity, and then the weight and height modifiers are automatically filled in to match. Totem's very connected to animals. It makes sense for a Firbolg. I doth agreeth. Percentile for where in the life cycle this character is. We rolled a 41, so this is an adult. So we're going to add 29 years plus 195 sided die. So we rolled 88. So that's going to be 108. That's going to be 117 years old. So he's an adult, you know, not a young adult per se, but adult at 117. And for the height and weight, the base height for a Firbolg starts at 6'2". We're going to add 2d12 inches to his height. 16 inches. All right, so we're 6 foot 18 inches. So we're 7'6". And to figure out the weight, we take that same 16 and multiply it by the result on a 2d6. 11. So that is 6. Carry the 1, so that's 76. Oh, well, actually, no. Let's just do this easily. Times 10 is 160. So it's 176. Sorry, plus 175, plus 176. I should be able to do this much more quickly. 1, carry the 1. So that's 15, carry the 1. 351 pounds. We have a big boy. Okay. So, all of the options, right? Let's go to the player's handbook and discover who our criminal variant spy is. We'll get to, what a Firbolg is and the Totem Warrior. I want to know who our character is first. First and foremost. And here we are. So the variant is spy, and this is what we've chosen or rolled. We learned and practiced our criminal trade in a very different context as an espionage agent. You might have been an officially sanctioned agent of the Crown, or perhaps you sold the secrets you uncovered to the highest bidder. As a spy, we are going to roll a d8 and figure out what kind of a spy we are. 7, and then we have 2 personality traits, which are going to be on 2d8, and then an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. So we're going to roll 3d6. So we have 7, 4, 3, 2, 5, 2. Seven, 4, 3, 2, 5, 2. All right, we do not need the character generator anymore. We have finished our random number generation. So we're gonna put that away. Night then, Maddie. I have to go to bed. Have a great night, Black Wolf. Thanks for hanging out with us in Derek's chat and for coming here and spending some time. Sleep well, and I'll see you around, sir. Now, our criminal specialty then, as a spy, as this espionage agent, is a pickpocket. So perhaps we are sent out in order to lift secret plans, in order to obtain the signet ring of a duke to be replicated. There's a lot of ways. You think pickpocket, that's a petty crime. Well, what would a spy with pickpocket skills be sent out to do? You have blackmailer, burglar, and so burglar would be more of like a larger heist. An enforcer, a fence, a highway robber, a hired killer, a pickpocket, or a smuggler. So this is more sleight of hand stuff. This is, a pickpocket, that and burglar, somewhat interchangeable, but this is more, you work the crowd. You're there to get a particular item, to pick a lock and get into a drawer. Could be burglar, but depending on, on things. It could also be to plant evidence, right? As a spy or an espionage agent, as a pickpocket, you might go and put in a vial of poison in someone's pocket, and then, maybe go on to poison someone, or there's a poisoner that you're working with, and then you implicate someone in a crime. Well, he's not he would not be a spy if he wasn't good at what he does. You know, he's that tall. At the same time, I don't know if you've seen pictures of Firbolgs, oh sheeps. Firbolgs are just lovable bundles of just comfort and joy. And so, who would suspect a Firbolg? And you know, with this lawful neutral disposition, this is, look, I take orders from my chief. I don't go out and kill people, but if it means setting something up to have someone go to jail, or to do something along those lines to free a bunch of people from tyranny or the like, he's gonna do it, even if you know, he can detach himself sentimentally from the job, and he can follow the orders that are given him. And so that actually would make him a pretty good spy. Is he Spanish? Well, I guess he'd be more like Andre the Giant instead of oh, shoot, what was his character's name? And shame on me for not remembering. But he's not. Oh, gotcha. Derek, that was on me. You made a good reference that I missed. All right, we have a background feature of a criminal contact. We have someone, Fezzik. There we go. Yes. Thank you, O'Sheeps. O'Sheeps gets an assist. We know someone who's still in the criminal underworld. You know, a contact, a fence, someone who does a specialty up above even, who can get us information. Actually, I was able to use this background feature in tonight's D&D time game. All right, our personality characteristic. And by the way, this creates a whole other NPC that can exist in the world. If you're a DM and your player hands you this sheet, this is instant world creation to hook your character in. And not only an individual, this could create an entire thieves guild or some other kind of network of informants. Your players are doing the heavy lifting for you. He should definitely be Spanish or French so he can sweet talk people as well. Well, I don't mind entertaining that, and we'll see where this goes. What is our Firbolg's disposition? His first personality trait as a spy pickpocket, is number 4. I would rather make a new friend than a new enemy. See, he wants to be friends, but then that doesn't stop him from you know, lifting your identity card out so he can get through the gate or whatever, in order to perform the rest of his mission. And number 3, the first thing I do in a new place is note the locations of everything valuable, or where such things could be hidden. Definitely a schmoozer. His ideal is number 2, freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. So there we go. We're talking about freeing people from tyranny. You know, he's sent out by an organization, an agency, or maybe he just does this himself. You know, Batman in a way could be a spy because he infiltrates, he gets data, he researches his targets, and so he's his own person. But again, this character is creating the possibility of a spy agency that is, you know, a non-governmental, a secret organization. It could be, you know, Her Majesty's Royal Secret Service kind of a thing. And also, don't be confused when we get a chaotic ideal and we have a lawful neutral character. He can still believe in freedom. You know, because if he doesn't do things by the book, then all of those other people aren't going to survive the tyranny or the oppression they're under. And so he may live by the book, and he may practice everything out of the spy handbook, but that doesn't mean that in his heart he doesn't seek freedom for others. His bond is number 5. I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it. Don't confuse his skills with his ideals. Yes. Yep. Guilty of a terrible crime. What if he worked? Right? He worked for a tyrant. Maybe he was an oppressor. That's how he became so methodical. And something happened that, his heart grew 3 sizes that day. And so now he either works in his own government independently, or maybe fled and converted and is now returning. And in this case, while Firbolgs, as they're presented in the textbooks here, I say textbooks like, well, this is a class. Come on, class. I hope you have all of your books for this session. In the D&D description, Firbolgs are a very, they're kind of a half giants, like kind of Goliath. They're fey giants. You forgot mine at home. A likely story. It sounds like. What are you gonna tell me next? Your sheep ate your book. So they're generally considered, a very cheery lot. Wouldn't harm a fly. They have these, kind of eternally red little frosty noses and stuff. My woo ate mine, and by that I mean I ate mine. That doesn't mean we can't entertain that there is a society of Firbolgs, and maybe this is what sets your D&D world apart. Firbolgs might be the bad guys, right? Or a tyrannical organization. They could be seeking to oppress people, or there could be war. And so the Firbolgs are looking to conquer territory for whatever reason. You could reskin them as not these, gentle giants, but they use their stature to conquer and to expand territory. And so here, maybe we had someone who worked for him and then learned a lesson and is now going back and infiltrating his own society. Or you can look at it like this, where the reason that there is war and the Firbolgs are the aggressors is because while they may have this different lifestyle or outlook, they seem to be freeing people from something else. You take a look and it's like, well, we're freeing people from idleness, because maybe they're invading a very kind of laid back, still kind of a, hunter-gatherer society, maybe more primitive. And so the Firbolgs, who might be a cultured society with medicine and philosophy and all this, might say we're actually expanding into, and this is where we get Barbarian, we're expanding into Barbarian territory, and we're going to bring civility and culture to them. We're going to bring them medicine so they stop dying in childbirth and all of this other stuff. And so here, as a spy, he could be sent out by the aggressor, now as a barbarian, similar to the movie Avatar, into this other culture to get information, to pickpocket little things, to get this, to bring it back. There's a lot of different ways we can take a look at this, and now think of this. How many different campaign ideas did we just come up with? How many different directions could this go? Themes to explore, right? Moral conundrums. Is this an evil campaign if we did it the way I just described? Doesn't have to be. Even if you're the ones who are, conquering native inhabitants in order to civilize them. So soft and fluffy until you find out they're big bullies. Yeah, you'll see some pictures in a little bit, Hero Sheeps. And lastly, our character's flaw, because all of us are flawed creatures, is number 2. When faced with a choice between money and my friends, I usually choose the money. So he's living for his ideals, not necessarily the others, and he knows that by freeing people, he's getting paid. So he'll feel good about it, but he's also doing it for the money. Or if we want to replace money with esteem or reputation or whatever else, we can do so. Gracie, hello and welcome. Now, knowing that we have a Firbolg character certainly can help. At the same time, could we have told a story about anyway? This could be a Medusa. This could be a genderless Warforged. This could have been a wizened old halfling. This could be a child prodigy, 13-year-old human who's been trained since even earlier in his or her life to be a spy and infiltrate. So this stuff helps, right? This helps, but we know who our character is. We can tell what's in our character's heart and mind. Oh, yeah, so like big swole warriors. All right, so we're finished with this. Now we are going to head over to Volo's Guide to Monsters, which apparently I wanted to separate out, which didn't need to. And here we go. Let's find out what our character is racially. What do we get for being a Firbolg? Now, there's a lot of fluff here, okay? I'm not going to read it, not because it's not good or important. I think that this is very good writing, and it gives you an excellent prompt into what the concept of a Firbolg is, using the standard assumptions of D&D books. Of course, your Firbolg could be whatever you want. And in fact, there's a fun little side chart here. What's our reason for leaving our Firbolg society? And so if we really wanted to add this in here as an extra little bit, then let's roll an 8-sided die. It lands on a 1. An outcast for murder. And hello, I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it. So, Firbolg, adventurer, outcast for murder. This is telling its own story. You could write a novel about this and as a solo character. I always loved drow who stick to their heritage. Just the unrepentant, evil, but we realize who we are, and this is our lifestyle, and we're going to do it. It's funny because the Firbolgs hate greed, and that's your fault too. Gracie, it's something I say often on this channel. This stuff writes itself. And for as much as folks on Twitch might not like random number generation, in this channel on Twitch, we love random number generation, and we roll with it. Because it works, it inspires us, it gets us to think outside the box, it challenges us. And when things click in these certain ways, it could be superstition, but you can say it was meant to be. Of all of the options that are available, and there's a lot of options, this is the one that we came up with. And isn't this a unique character that is our character? Maybe he's self-loathing. So here you go, oh sheeps. Here is a picture of a Firbolg, or at least a concept of one. Of course, your mileage may vary. Talk to your dealer for details. Oh, sheeps, you'd marry one. Well, so yeah, you'd kind of be marrying like a basketball player in stature, or maybe like a really tall football player. Their wisdom score increases by 2, and their strength score increases by 1. Age and alignment, we already have that. Firbolgs, we already have that. Your base speed is 30 feet, so 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. Firbolg magic. You can cast detect magic and disguise self with this trait, using wisdom as your spellcasting ability for them. Once you cast either spell, you can't cast it again with this trait until you finish a short or long rest. When you use this version of disguise self, you can seem up to 3 feet, because it's normally 1 foot. You can seem up to 3 feet shorter than normal, allowing you to more easily blend in with humans and elves. So, we are going to put... it's actually not going to go here. I think those are first level spells. So, Firbolg magic. Detect magic. Once per... I'm just going to put rest, because it's short or long, so it doesn't matter what kind of rest. And... disguise self. Actually, I'm going to abbreviate this to FM for Firbolg magic. Because this is particularly wisdom based, and I want to make sure we're indicating that in order to look through stuff like disguise self. Okay, what else do we get? Hidden step. As a bonus action, you can magically turn invisible until the start of your next turn, or until you attack, make a damage roll, or force someone to make a saving throw. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So racially, we have Hidden Step. Once per rest. Powerful build. You count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. Speech of Beast and Leaf. You have the ability to communicate in a limited manner with beasts and plants. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return. You have advantage on all charisma checks you make to influence them. And for our languages, Common, Elven or Elvish, and Gigante. Legends, howdy. I'm sorry, I had my nose in my PDF here. A goblin teleported 550 feet in the air. Would deal 11d6 damage to anything it landed on, and would take 20d6 damage. Now think about that. Imagine you had a 10,000 gram bag of holding, which can hold 250 feet, cubic feet. You can theoretically shove 62 half goblins in that thing. Now imagine teleporting the bag 550 feet up in the air and ripping it. What would the result be? Yeah, Gracie, a lot of dead goblins. They refer to that as carpet bombing. How's the math work in AD&D? Also, would it make someone evil if they were going... let's be careful. I mean, we can consider stuff like that in context. So if you're asking, is something evil? Just make sure in context everything is working out, Legends. And blinding goblins and forcing them into that bag of holding. Well, I mean, if you're taking a sentient figure, you know, especially if you're if they weren't doing any harm to you, and you're going out hunting these things, you know, they have their society, and whether or not you think they're evil, you're taking these sentient creatures and you're doing this. That's probably an evil act. You know, because if you go off of rules that are written, there's a lot of things that you can do or can technically do. So it's really just it's up to you and your dungeon master to sit down and discuss. You know, I would like to do this. Are there 62 goblins available that, you know, I can murder and put into a bag of holding? And maybe there are, maybe there's not. Or your DM might ask, so what are you doing? And you describe it and you say, well, I'll let you do it. Though this is going to be an alignment shift because you're doing this action. Well, then Legends, that's a conversation you got to have with your dungeon master, and not even just with her or him. You're gonna have that with the rest of the group, because if the rest of the group isn't on board rolling with someone who's doing this in the game, then that could be disruptive. And so there's rules considerations, and then there's context at the tabletop you have to consider too. It is a lot. It could be a lot of potential damage. If that's the ultimate goal, then pursue it creatively. To do it just to do it, again, there's going to be ramifications in game and out of game for that. And if everyone's on board and everyone says, "Yeah, let's go hunt goblins and make, you know, these murder, like these body bags of goblins," if that's what everyone at the table wants to do, that's what you get to do, right? This is a storytelling game of fantasy and imagination. If everyone is still having fun, then find creative uses to deal damage with a bag of holding, for example. Well, hey, then if you're the DM, yeah, no problem, Legends. If you're fine with that, and everyone sitting at your table is like, yeah, let's hunt goblins and terrorize them by dropping their dead back on them. I mean, look, in history and in fiction, we've had where bodies would be impaled on a road leading somewhere to act as a warning, or dead bodies would be flung, you know, with trebuchets or catapults over walls for both an intimidation factor and to try and spread disease from the corpses. And so, you know, something like that, it's not unheard of. Just make sure that, you know, if you're trying to play a careful game of, you know, political maneuvering, and it's very social, very like espionage and spy stuff, and it's not necessarily you know, kick in the door style, you know, min-max damage type stuff, that something like that, you know, wouldn't disrupt what everyone has signed up to play at your tabletop. Release the prisoners, says Derek. I have a guy in my campaign who would like that. My character would be morally obliged to kill them. Old Port Media, Monty Python comes to mind when the flying farmyard animals. Oh, Fisher Lavash. Okay, Fisher Lavash. Recently, we found the population of the regional goblins has been declining, and we don't know what. See, yeah, if you're working into your game, look, for some people, they're like, this is silly, this is murderous, or whatever. But you know what? In the context of your game, if it works and it fits, and this actually could lead to intriguing gameplay, because whether or not a party member does it, what if a villainous character does this? And they find out that there's someone out there who is just trying to hunt goblins to extinction and is shoving them in bags and causing the bodies to fall out and you know, leave these grisly totems everywhere. There's a lot you can do with the idea on Legends, as long as it makes sense for your game. There you go. So I hope that answered your question, Legends. They may. Look, it's curiosity. If we can do one thing, what else can we do with the new thing that we've discovered? It's a part of human nature, Legends. All right, so we have our spy, we have a Firbolg spy, and now let's build our 16 levels of Totem Warrior Barbarian. We're going to go back to the player's handbook for this. Yeah, oh sheeps. If you look at the pinned messages, it should be a file an Excel file you can download from there. Why Pathfinder goblins rule? The weeby goblins, yeah. Yes, Gracie. This week is a little different because I just upgraded from our spreadsheet, our old spreadsheet we've been using for about a year now, a little over a year, into a much better, more modular, better presented one here. And so we role play on Tuesdays, and that's a practice what we preach moment. Wednesday through Saturday is our workshop days. And usually over the course of a week, we'll gen up 4 or 5 characters, and then we'll go through other workshops on generating towns or regions, NPCs, villains, and by the end of the week, or if we take 2 weeks worth of time to get through everything, and we'll make a dungeon and it'll be like more detailed, we wrap it up at the end of the week by making an adventure synopsis. And it'll take everything we've built, and so of course everything will be organically interlinked and grown, and it'll be presented as an outline or through some sort of a writing style, because there's a lot of different ways you could write adventures, and so we explore them, and then it's all wrapped up in an adventure that will take the characters we generated on through a story of some kind. When we finished, and I post the videos on YouTube, all of this content is made available on our Discord. You don't have to be a subscriber. And you can go through our archive, our 2019 and our 2018 archive, and you can watch the characters be made, you could watch the maps or dungeons be made, and not only can you watch the videos there, all of the files that we produce. So all the character sheet PDFs, all of the PNGs from the maps that we make, all of the documents that have adventure outlines or NPCs or villains, all of that goes on our Discord and is available for you or others to download and enjoy. Maybe you want to run the adventure that we make. Maybe you want to use it as an outline and fill it in a different fashion. Maybe you really like a character and you just want to download it and use it. Maybe you change 1 or 2 things about him or her. But what we do, it's just that. Old Port Media, thank you very much for that follow, and welcome aboard to you. All right, 16 levels of Barbarian looks like this. So let's get to it here. We are a D12 hit die class. Whoops. We actually have 16 D12. meaning that this is our intrinsic ability to recuperate, catch our breath, and heal. We get armor proficiencies, light and medium armor. And for weapons, simple and martial. Our saving throws are going to be strength and constitution. And we're going to get... Oh, you know what? Shame on me. My gosh. I was so wrapped up in this very interesting Firbolg character, I forgot to fill in our background. We get deception and stealth. We're also going to get a tool proficiency of a gaming set of some kind, which I'm going to put a generic placeholder there. If any of you have a suggestion, like you think he's a dice roller, does he play 3 Dragon Ante, or something different, then you can suggest as much. So a gaming set and thieves tools. And we're going to get some special equipment, a crowbar, which if you're a thief and you have a crowbar, you should name it like your sword. It's a faithful companion. Hooded common clothes, or hooded dark clothes. And a belt pouch with 15 gold pieces in it. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Now, let's return back to Barbarian. We get to choose 2 from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. Let's consult the personality. Let's look at the character again. Now, a lot of people, when you're building characters for a party, you might say, hey, does anyone have perception? No? All right, I guess I'll be the perception person. And you fill it in because, then you choose a background or something that gives it to you. When we build characters here, we're building individuals, we're building people that exist because they exist by their own merits. They've made decisions that have led them in the direction that they've gone. So I'm not looking at doing something for party cohesion or the like. When we choose skills, this is what would a character like this choose and why. So I'd rather make a new friend than a new enemy. The first thing I do in a new place is note the locations of everything valuable. So that could be perception. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them, as are ideal. I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it, and when faced with a choice between money and friends, I usually choose the money. Perception makes sense for our personality, right? Our background. Animal handling, athletics, intimidation. He was outcast for murder, which we randomly rolled, and that goes into the bond that we rolled for criminal. Hey, Mr. Plunderloot, welcome. Taking off for the night, I'll be back. Gracie, thank you for hanging out with us as long as you have, and I hope to see you back. Intimidation, I was thinking intimidation, Gracie. Yeah, perception would be intrinsic, Coffee Cat. Yeah, so Gracie, then, before you take off here, bada boom, there's intimidation. Oh, plunder, that is awesome. You really want to immerse yourself. Stealth, deception, intimidation, and perception. Gracie, before you take off then, is this character, do you have a name in mind? Is this really resounding with something for you? Whoops. We're going to start with some equipment. Now, the equipment isn't necessarily going to be super important. For the conceptual build, but don't, how do I put this? Giving this character a great sword is going to speak a little bit about the character. They can use any weapon, pretty much. But if his favorite weapon is a great sword, or is a longsword. You know, you can have a sword and board barbarian, because I actually forgot to put shields. Right, you get light, medium, and shields. And if we have this this spy that's really good at pickpocketing and whatnot, I mean, certainly we could give him a dagger, but maybe he carries a sword on his hip and is the type to go to galas to try and pickpocket evidence, or to try and steal signet rings for reproduction, like I was saying, to plant evidence on people that gets them implicated in a murder or a poisoning later. Mordecai is definitely a sword boy. Gracie, he used to have another name, but now he just goes by Gray. Agent Gray. Vitae in style, yes, Plunder Loot. I mean, if you ever want to see more chalices, you should play Trivia Murder Party with us. So, you know, if we go in here and let's say we go for a longsword, a gentleman's weapon, for a gentleman's spy. So we go longsword, two hand axes or any simple weapon. So we go longsword and dagger, and then an explorer's pack. Of course, your DM might say that you could replace it with a disguise kit or something, or, you know, you could modify, again, just like we were talking about up above with Legends. You know, Legends, if you're still here, you know, it's something, you have a character prompt, discuss it with your DM, and you might find that he or she is open-minded to that. So we have an explorer's pack and some javelins. Part of our class ability is Rage. Now, there's a lot here. It's not necessarily complex. I'm not going to read it all off, or I'm not going to list it all, but know that we do get to Rage, and that there are going to be some effects with that. And if we look up here, by 16th level, we can Rage 5 times per day. In fact, if you want to put, like, Rage use, we could put 5 and 0 down here, because this is a placeholder for things like lay on hands, key points, sorcery points. By 16th level, our rage damage is a +4. And our proficiency bonus is a +5. There we go. We get unarmored defense. So if we're not wearing armor, our armor is equal to 10 plus dex plus con mods. We also get reckless attack. We can grant ourselves advantage on attacks by granting enemies advantage against us. Danger sense. And by the way, just because we're rolling a barbarian doesn't mean that our barbarian is smart or illiterate. Can you imagine a spy having danger sense? Mm-hmm. At 2nd level, you gain an uncanny sense of when things nearby aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge away from danger. This is something important for a spy, and it's not coming from a rogue or a bard. We're going to get our primal path, and we'll come back to that soon, but I want to get our core barbarian values, or our features, in first. We're going to get an extra attack. Spider sense. Ah, you. Time to pass out, Derek. Have an awesome night, and thank you very much for all that you've done today. I mean, not just today, but it is, I guess it's technically tomorrow, today, but yesterday. Anyway, thank you very much. You've earned a good night's sleep, my friend. And Neo Realms, hello and welcome. Hey, Neo, what were you testing out on your channel earlier? Feral Instinct. You have advantage on initiative rolls. Again, important for a spy. Brutal critical. Well, you know, we hit hard enough, and this is actually 2x dice. You know, if you're an expert, right? You got to get that. You got to get that karate chop in that disables people. Plunder loot. What do I have for le boxes? I have Monster Menagerie 3, Ravnica, Tomb of Annihilation, Storm King's Thunder, and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The Storm Kings and the Monster Menagerie 3 are the 13 first dibs or the 22 for a full house, like a full pull. The others are the 11-18 split. We're seeing how a phone broadcast would perform in the new game room. Ooh, you know what, Neil? If you learned anything from that, impart some wisdom, because I've been meaning to experiment with that, because if I'm going to be going out to TwitchCon, I might want to try broadcasting from my phone to bring you all along, because I do not have a laptop. I don't have a laptop to bring out there. Oh yeah, Evelyn, yeah, you got to pinch a little lower, like this? Yeah. Exactly. By 11th level, we get Relentless Rage. By 15th level, we get Persistent Rage. Beginning of 15th level, your rage is so fierce it ends early only if you fall unconscious or if you choose to end it. And we're not quite high enough for Indomitable Might. So it is here, all our barbarians get this list. All our 16th level barbarians, bada boom. Now, our primal path, the path of the Totem Warrior, is going to give us a couple specialty stuff. Just aspects. We're seeing how the phone broadcast, because it's hit or miss at cons. Yeah, and sometimes too, to get con internet that's not poopy, you have to pay a pretty big fee for it. Ashland Snow, is the character generator something we can try out too? Yes and no. Ash, if that's fine to call you as such. So we come over to here. Now this character, this roller, is locked for stream use. However, the template that we used until this week.
Let me get ASKT.
Oh, beautiful German accent there, Plunder. All right, we'll pop open this Storm King's Thunder for you when we finish up this character. So, actually, I'll just keep it in here. The spreadsheet that this is based off of, because this week is the official test run of this new character generator. You can download the spreadsheet from the Discord. And it's pretty much the same. The exceptions are it's for the core rulebooks. And so if you did want to add in, you could use the principles and add in whatever you wanted to. This just conveniently has it available on demand. Yeah, Bubonic, it should be a pinned message in the Table Talk, the general chat room of the Table Talk is the general chat of our Discord. If you check the pinned messages, you should be able to find it there. Ah, thank you, Coffee. All right, now we're on the path of the Totem Warrior. We're infusing ourselves with animalistic, some spiritual guidance, which could even physically affect us if we so choose. At level 3, we are a Spirit Seeker. At 3rd level, when you adopt this path, you gain the ability to cast Beast Sense and speak with animals, but only as rituals, as described in Chapter 10. I think those are 2nd level spells. Let me check real quick. Beast Sense, yes, second level. All right. Just as planned. So we're going to come down here. Being a Firbolg gave us some intrinsic first level magic. And now we come down here to Spirit Seeker. And this is going to give us Beast Sense and Speak with Animals as a ritual. And we also get a Totem Spirit. At third level, when you adopt this path, you choose a Totem Spirit and gain its feature. You must make or acquire a physical totem object. So there's 3 ways that we can build this subclass. Bear, resistance to all damage. Eagle, while you're raging and not wearing heavy armor, other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attack rolls. And Wolf, while you're raging, your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature. He's probably more of a solo operative. I don't know if the Wolf in this instance would be good for what he's chosen to do as a profession. Well, I guess chosen is an interesting word. It seems to have been thrust upon him for the murder that he may very well have or have not committed. I think being mobile, the Eagle, right? If you're on the run, or especially if you're caught and need to get out of there, the Eagle is the way to go. At 6th level, we get Aspect of the Beast. And again, we are presented with 3 options. The eyesight of an eagle, I think, is we're gonna stick with this. You gain the eyesight of an eagle. You can see up to 1 mile away with no difficulty, able to discern even fine details as though looking at something no more than 100 feet away from you. And dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your perception checks. And that's huge because Firbolgs do not get dark vision. So it's not going to give us dark vision, but it's going to give us an aspect of it. So I think we're going to stick with the eagle for this character here. And then at 10th level, we are a Spirit Walker. You can cast Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. And Commune with Nature is... a 5th level divination. Spirit Walker. Commune with Nature. And lastly, we get our last aspect as a totem warrior by level 14. We are we have totemic attunement. We get a magical benefit based on the totem animal we select. And now if we're sticking with eagle, let's take a look. While raging, you have a flying speed equal to your current walking speed. Oh, that could be great for a spy. This benefit works only in short bursts. You fall if you end your turn in the air and nothing else is holding you aloft. So, eagle all the way. Now, with the prompt that the player's handbook gives you, we would be taking on some sort of, it doesn't have to be an eagle. It could be something similar, just a swift flying, like some other form of raptor. But we would be influenced by the spirits and take on these animalistic traits that are a natural part of us, despite us also being a Firbolg. That said, our special alter self could also hide our eagle eyes or the feathers that are kind of growing interwoven with our hair, or You know, we start, our fingertips become more like talons. That kind of a thing, because we're channeling this bird of prey through us. And so there we go, everyone. We have made our first... I'm sorry. Well, we've almost. This is why I saved the stats for last. We have a character. We know how he thinks. We know how he acts. We can imagine how he came to be the character that he is right now. We have the chassis of the character. It's all pretty and shiny, and all it needs is the engine dropped into it. And so let's drop the engine into it. We use the standard array on the channel. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And I believe we should go 15. Very charismatic. I think we should go 15, 14. He is stealthy. 13. 12. 10 and 8. He's not extremely intelligent, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad spy because of it. You know, especially if his ideal is freedom, he could very well have been bound in chains. He could have been indentured or a slave. He could have been, you know, he may not have gotten an education. And maybe maybe that's what could have led in, right? He's an outcast for murder. And he's guilty of a terrible crime. Maybe he's not, and he just thinks that he is because he hasn't put the pieces together. Or he could if ever he pursued some investigation. You suggested 15, 12, 14, 10, 8, 3. You want to make a wisdom the lower to round up with a +2 to a 10? I just don't see him as a particularly intelligent, which is why I think I'm more comfortable swapping the intelligence in for the 8. Now, if we do it this way, that's going to be a 12 wisdom and a 16 strength. And we didn't roll that we're gonna replace any of our ASIs or our stat bumps with feats. So we have 8 points to drop into our stats here. I really think we're going to put 2 points into charisma because he's very charismatic. We can put 2 points into strength. Bringing Dex up won't be terrible. Yeah, he's street smart, not book smart. Exactly. Yeah, we're going to do that, Plunder Loot. And this is a very good point also. We've used 4 of our 8 so far. Now we've used 5 of our 8. And you say, well, where do we put the stray point? And one thing you can do, you get a mechanical benefit from a higher strength score. If you're ever floating a random 1, you can plop it into strength and you can still get something immediately relevant for it. Because it increases your carrying capacity, your push, pull, slide, lift, etc. Katie Sue, hey, thank you and welcome. Doomfish, we made it. I hope y'all were having fun. Can you give us a recap on things, Doomfish? And then throw the last 2 in con? I think we can do that. Always fun. All right, if we do this, this is giving us a 4 strength, 2 dex, 2 con, -1 int, 1 wisdom, and 3 charisma. Because this is certainly the spy who loved me. Our strength saving throw is a 9 with athletics at a 4. 2's down the line except for stealth, which is a nice 7. A 7 on our con saves. We're just going to discreetly copy paste this -1 all the way down. Intelligence. Wisdom is 1 down the line except perception, which is 6. And charisma is 3 with the exception of deception and intimidation, which is 8 and 8. Passive perception is 10 plus your perception modifier, and that's your natural awareness. No dice rolls needed. Just what you pick up normally. Our initiative is a dex check, so it's a +2. Armor class, this can really vary. If we're not wearing any armor and we don't have a shield, it's going to be 14. It's however we want to... Barbarians get a ton of armor or armor equivalent options. Now, hit points. At first level, you get your maximum hit die of hit points, so that's 12. For our 15 remaining levels of 16, because remember, our first level is already taken care of, it's half plus 1 is what I recommend. Half of 12 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Then you get bonus hit points equal to all of your levels, so 16, times your con modifier. And so here's the simple math to come up with how many hit points this character has. We have 32. 15 times, so that's 7 times 5 is 35. So we have... So this is going to be 137. 149. I recommend this as well, but if you feel lucky, sure, roll for it. Oh yeah, especially if you have such a big variable like a D12. I mean, you could want to play, you know, Kronk the Barbarian, and for 3 levels in a row, you could just roll 1 hit point, 1 hit point, 1 hit point. And you're still Kronk the Barbarian, but you might not be able to take the hits that you hoped you were able to. Because that's 11 hit points per level you've just left on the table.
Already been 4 months. Oh man, how time flies here.
Oh, Doomfish, beautiful Welsh accent. Time flies. And Doomfish, tonight is the debut of the brand new Tier 1 emote. And so I will prompt you to find it and enjoy using it. And also, thank you very much for the follow, Ash. So here we go. This is our character, everyone. All right, now we can pat ourselves on the back for this. We finished up this character, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop open this box of minis that Plunder Loot has sponsored. We'll take a break and come back, and we'll make another character with all options, with the exception of Adventures League stuff, because I don't have that immediately available, in order to gen up another character from scratch. And I hope that if you've been a part of this journey, can you understand the character, right? Can you conceive that this character is a living, breathing entity who can make decisions, who has morals and values, who has flaws that can be exploited and cause him emotional pain? He has goals. And you know what? We can calculate, yeah, with his longsword, he's going to hit at a +9. And so he's going to deal 1d8 plus 4 slashing damage. Unless it's versatile, then it's a 1d10. You know, these details are fine to fill in, but ask yourself, who is the character? And do you understand it, and can you appreciate this character? Could you think of a place in your game for a character like this as an NPC or a PC? Because we know the heart and mind of the character. He's not just a pile of stats. We waited until the very end to drop the stats in. This is the last thing we did. So. Hey, King, welcome. Yes, the new emote.